Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GRIDwrap. We're maybe having a little bit of microphone problem today. I don't quite know why, but both Alizarin Goldflake, our guest, and myself are, one of us is cutting out in-world and one of us is cutting out out-world. So, Alizarin, welcome to GRIDwrap.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. Now, Alizarin Goldflake, I would describe you as an artist. How would you describe yourself?
As an artist, I'm a digital artist in real life and a virtual artist in Second Life.
How do you make those two things go together?
Well, actually, I started probably early 90s with a digital drawing program called Fractal Design Painter. And so I've been working digitally for a long time. And when I came into Second Life, which was 2006, the first thing I learned to do was res a cube and put some of my artwork on it. And so that's how the digital got into Second Life. Second Life has subsequently sort of permeated my first life, both in terms of crossover events, and also it's affected my creative process so that I'm actually making a kind of artwork that I never made before in real life.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. So basically, you are finding that one affected the other. Did that take very long, or was it fairly immediate? I mean, did you take like a duck to water to virtual worlds or virtuality?
Oh, it was incredible. I logged on for the first time, and, I was on Health Island, and sort of trying to figure out where I was and, what that motorcycle was doing roaring over the hill over there. And then I found the fly button, and I hit it. And I got so excited, I just flew off Health Island and started flying around Second Life. And it was just like love at first sight.
That's fantastic. And so how did you actually start making art in here? I mean, did that happen? I mean, it takes a little while, doesn't it, to find out what you can do and what you can't do?
Well, I stumbled into a place called The Shelter, which is a very good place for newbies to go. And they have some wonderful mentors there, and I just asked a lot of questions, and I found out how to res a prim, and I found out how to put a texture on it. And I did that, and then I went looking for an art gallery, and I ran into Juanita DeHaro, who's another very good Second Life artist. And she was running a gallery, so I showed there my very first Second Life piece of art, and that's how a friendship got started and the Second Life art career.
Wow. And so how long have you been in now?
For almost 4 years.
So it's a long time. And
2006.
So you don't find yourself getting waylaid, as it were? I mean, do you find yourself making art all the time?
Actually, I spend a lot of time on friendships, too. I have a lot of really good Second Life friends. And so, and I go looking at art, probably not as much as I should, but I do go looking at other people's artwork. But my basic passion is for building.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have been snooping around your resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, I mean, it's a long resume, isn't it? In the sense that you've covered an enormous amount of work. And one of the things, I've been looking at your in-world resume specifically, and I've seen machinima and digital art and sculpture. And as you say, do you put that all together under the word building?
Yeah, when I say building, I mean, making shapes with prims, putting textures on them, putting scripts into them, putting sounds in, and either the goal is to make a piece of art or sometimes I make, furniture for my studio or a sky studio, a skybox to show my work in. But mostly it's making art.
Do you mix RL and virtual worlds?
I do, in the sense that I'm open about my identity. I mean, I'm happy to say that I'm Martha Jane Bradford in real life, and I have a real life website, which I'm happy to give out if people are interested.
Yeah, give it out. Give it out.
Okay.
We'll be doing an edit of this, so we will be putting all the contacts on as well. So
great. Okay, it's www.marthavista.com.
Now, you've got also 3D kinetic and immersive art down, and abstracts and landscapes. Would you define yourself in one specific area as your preference at all? Because you do machinima as well, don't you?
I do machinima, but more from the point of view of documenting the immersive art. Sorry, Sora. Sora doesn't like the term immersive art because she argues, and she's in the audience tonight. She's another really great friend, really great SL artist. She doesn't like the term immersive art because her argument is that all of Second Life is an immersive experience. My continuing to use the term is that I find it very useful to be able to distinguish between 2D work that you look at on a wall or sculpture that you look at, standing outside of it, versus the experience of actually going into the art in order to experience it. So I still keep using immersive art. And I would say that's my preference at the moment. Okay,
so where do you get your ideas? I mean, do you get your ideas? Do you get inspiration in Second Life or in other virtual worlds? Or does your inspiration come from outside and then you bring it in?
Basically, I get my inspiration walking my dog, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
I kind of daydream when I'm walking, and these things will pop into my head, and I'll get excited about building them.
So this is your A job, as it were, isn't it? Because I know an awful lot of people who aspire to be artists, who want to be artists, and maybe do it in here, in the times they're in here, and then outside they would have a day job. What would you say to those people, Alizarin?
How do you mean, what would I...
Is it worth them taking the risk and dropping everything and just doing their art? I mean, for me, I'm a person who does this in RL and SL. I didn't intend to do it in SL, but it just happened. And it's because it consumes me.
Yeah. I don't think that anybody who needs to earn a living should try to do it through Second Life, especially through Second Life Arts, because, I mean, I was making, a nice amount of money every month and paying my tier, and then the recession hit, and now I'm, maybe paying half my tier if I'm lucky. So I would say don't quit your day job.
Definitely a day job. Okay, I'm going to ask Martha Jane Bradford. When did you first know that you were going to be an artist? Was it always there for you?
Yeah, I was doing watercolors and pencil drawings, as soon as I could hold pencil. So, it's what I always wanted to do. My parents didn't want me to do it. And so they, sent me to a traditional college where I got a bachelor's in English. And what do you do with a bachelor's in English? God knows. And, but, and I was in publishing for a bit. And then I was forced to take a part-time job in the hopes of eventually going full-time with this company that I wanted to work for. And I sort of let the artists come out during the days off, and it just took over.
Now, you have had a fair amount of work shown. I mean, when I look at the RLSL, just the crossover events here, right?
Yeah.
This is extraordinary, even just this year, isn't it?
Actually, more happened this year than ever before. I'm really interested in trying to get Second Life and real life, together for myself and for other people. But there just seemed to be a lot of opportunities this year, and the one that I really enjoyed the most was Georg Janik, who runs the Carolean Artist Collective in Second Life, did a crossover show at the Harbor Gallery at UMass Boston in the United States. And it was just a thrill to be in that show and to be, with other virtual artists in a real-world environment and to meet a lot of the people. I met Thoth there, for example.
Oh.
And Thoth and I are now working together on a project for the Museum of Science. So it was just really a great experience. And I think Georg is Georg. He's going to kill me for saying his name wrong. Georg has really made a major contribution to the Second Life art scene. He's got the ambiguity of Identity Collab running right now, the Identity Museum, and that's really a must-see in Second Life.
So how do you go about setting up a crossover? I mean, I see for one crossover event, you did something called Virtual Tree Line, which was a live crossover to an audience in Noosa Regional Gallery, Australia, with a tour of your virtual studio and work.
Well, this I didn't set up. This was run by Juanita DeHaro. And she managed all the, sort of technology of streaming the interview and the studio visit into real life. And it was she who put the exhibit together.
And did you? Were you present in Second Life then, and showing people around, or?
Yeah, it was stunning.
And were you talking to nobody, as it were? Could you see them?
I was talking to her. I couldn't see the people in the real world. There was no streaming back the other way at all. So it was Juanita and me having a conversation.
And just trust it. God, I can't imagine what that feels like, really. Well, I suppose it must feel a bit like this, I suppose.
It does, exactly like
this. Okay, and so tell us about the Museum of Science project.
Well, that's also kind of a crossover project. It's going to be an exhibit for the Counters Computer Place that is designed to expose people to art made with computers, both digital art and also virtual art. And I've done the artistic and sort of conceptual design. Thoth is doing the technical design, so he's figuring out how we're going to, what machinery we need, what computer, what programs and stuff to produce it. What it's going to look like is one end of the Computer Place room is going to have a video projection that's filmed inside of one of my virtual art pieces. So it will, and it's going to be on a curved screen, and it'll be flanked by some digital collages, and then a couple of kiosks where people sit down and can do interactive exercises with various pieces of software. And inside each kiosk, I'm hoping to have another simulated virtual art projection.
God, that sounds wonderful.
And it's going to have sound and video.